Through a series of draft acquisitions and trades and big brain moves, the Orlando Magic have secured one of the best young cores in the NBA. They have Mo Bamba, the number 6 pick in the 2018 draft, who was projected to be one of the best big men in the league, however, has fallen short of that. But with Nikola Vucevic leaving, he's projected to play a lot better. Mo's already one of the better rim protectors in the league. He is slow in the pick and roll, however, he is constantly improving in that aspect, and he is still young. Keep in mind, when he was drafted, he was considered a project. Yet Wendell Carter Jr., who was a part of the trade for Nikola Vucevic, for where he was drafted with the number 7 pick, he has fallen short of what he was projected. However, this could be attributed to his role in Chicago, where he was playing 5 a lot and trying to guard bigger elite men at his size proved a challenge for him. However, he did show promise on the offensive end, being able to torch defenses from the mid-range and within the post. He's also a great rebounder for his size and plays bigger than how tall he is. And moving from Chicago to Orlando will provide him with the perfect pieces and role in order to flourish, which would allow him to improve his game dramatically, not being forced to play against bigger men, being next to Mo Bamba, and being able to play a power forward position, leading to a more effective role in the team. Then you have Jonathan Isaacs. At 23 years old, he's already one of the better defenders in the league. With his length, size and athleticism, he's able to pick pockets, jump the lanes and block shots, which leads to good transition offense. With his athleticism can lead to higher dunks than other players. He was drafted as somewhat of a floor spacer, however, he has fallen short of that. He does show potential, shooting 34%, although it's on limited attempts. He's still been a solid contributor for the team and plays his role effectively. In reference to Jonathan Isaacs, the main concern of this team starts in the guards. The number 1 pick of Jonathan Isaacs' draft, Markelle Fultz, was traded to the Magic after 2 seasons with the Philadelphia 76ers. The problem with the Magic arises when you look at their guard selection. Over the years, they've acclimated an extensive amount of guards, starting with Terence Ross, then moving to Markelle Fultz, then moving to Cole Anthony. And most recently, Jalen Suggs. In this video, I'm going to rank the best guards on this team and give my suggestion on what the Magic should do in the upcoming season. In last place, RJ Hampton. RJ Hampton in 2020-2021 draft was one of the more polarizing draft prospects coming out of the NBL, playing against other grown men and his rival in terms of prospects, LaMelo Ball. Although his performance in the NBL did somewhat hurt his draft stock, he still was drafted high, going in the first round to the Denver Nuggets at 24. Now with the Denver Nuggets, they are a competing team, having an MVP caliber player, a player that just came for averaging 30 points in the bubble, a young star in Michael Porter Jr., and other elite players that put them in a position to compete. The acquisition of RJ Hampton did leave him in a position where he didn't fit, which led to him getting traded to the Orlando Magic. In his time in Denver, he did show potential of what he could be. RJ Hampton for his size is an elite rebounder, and his crazy athleticism and hustle allows him to jump over defenders, tipping balls,
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Pause, to hustle for offensive rebounds to restart a play and get a better shot. His crazy athleticism also allows him to drive to the rim. His quick burst of speed let him get past his defenders and challenge the big man at the rim, which can lead to fouls or highlight plays. However, due to his inexperience in the best league in the world, it did lead to a lot of missed shots. RJ Hampton shot 33% on catch and shoot threes. Now, although 33% is a low number for specifically catch and shoot threes, it is average to decent. This shows his potential to space the floor for the team and create opportunities on both ends of the floor, both defensively and offensively. This shows his potential to create plays for the team off the ball, leading to more scoring opportunities for him. In terms of defense, amongst his class he was one of the better defenders. His strength and length allow him to stay in position on his defender and not get bullied to the rim. In tandem with his athleticism, he can recover if he gets beat, as well as jump up to block uncontested. I put him last because throughout this analysis, his key factor was potential. He did have limited playing time on the Nuggets and we didn't get to see an extensive amount of him on the Magic, so all we have to go off is speculation and hope. I would give RJ a C-. Number 5 is Cole Anthony. Excluding Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony is the most inexperienced player on this list as he just completed his rookie season. Cole Anthony averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists on 40% shooting and 33% shooting from the free. Coming in, he was projected as a high volume scorer and he did show potential of that, however his efficiency wasn't the best and playmaking could be considered average to bad in reference to his turnovers. He did show flashes of what he could be as a scorer, hitting multiple game winners and being able to create a shot consistently. However, this could be considered lucky as he had the opportunity to have a bigger role in the team as Markelle Fultz was injured throughout the season. Cole Anthony is an amazing shot creator. He can create a shot consistently from free, mid-range and finish at the rim consistently. With his crazy athleticism, he can perform highlight dunks, finish around the rim with crazy finishes and challenge the biggest and best defenders at the rim. However, his problem starts with the ability to create off the ball. He's not a great off-ball mover and doesn't perform the best on catch and shoot threes, shooting only 32% on 2 attempts while shooting them on a 17% frequency. On the defensive end, he is strong, which does help as he's able to stay in position as well as fight over screens. However, he was quite lacking that end, which does leave room for him to be improved. The strange case for Cole Anthony as well, as researching this, I didn't even know this, he's 21 years old.
What did he say?
With his age, in tandem with his rookie start, it does provide concern for his potential. I did see a video which I will link below about how Cole Anthony could be a late bloomer similar to Julius Randle, which could be the case for him, and I hope it would be, as it would significantly help the Orlando Magic. I would give Cole Anthony a B+. At number 4 we have Gary Harris. Gary Harris for the Denver Nuggets was one of their core players and a contributing factor to their team. However, this season he had fallen off to a certain degree. This season he averaged 10 points, 2 rebounds and 2 assists on 40% shooting from the field and 34% shooting from free. In comparison to his best season at Denver, he averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds and 3 assists on 40% shooting from free and 50% from the field. This drop in production could be attributed to his injury. For his last 5 seasons, he hasn't been able to play over 60 games, including the bubble season where he only played 40 out of the 72 games that were played. After his 2017-18 season, he continuously regressed. However, one aspect of his game that he continuously contributes to is the defensive end. As a guard, Gary Harris is one of the best defenders. His strength, speed, quick hands, athleticism, and overall defensive prowess allow him to pick pockets, block shots, do everything you need to do as an individual defender and a team defender. He was significant to the Nuggets defense, and hopefully he can contribute that to the Orlando Magic. However, his scoring output, which was a significant aspect of his game, has dropped dramatically, which could hurt playing time as well as his role on the team. I would give Gary Harris a B+ also. I believe he's better than Cole Anthony due to his elite defense as well as experience in the league. Cole Anthony, relative to his time in the league, is a good scorer. However, Gary Harris has the experience under his belt, is an elite defender, and in comparison to Cole Anthony, a good scorer as he only averaged 3 more points than him. In the assist to rebound ratio, they are comparable in assists and rebounds, although it's clear to see that Cole Anthony is better. However, Gary Harris' elite defense allows him to have a slight edge above Cole Anthony. At the number 3 spot is Markelle Fultz. We should know the story of Markelle Fultz by now. Coming in as the number 1 pick in the 2017-18 draft, Markelle Fultz was predicted to be the difference maker in Philly. His shot creation ability from free, mid-range and at the rim would compensate for Ben Simmons' missing 3-point shooting ability. In tandem with his pick and roll offense and budding elite defense, this would theoretically complete the process. He did show extreme promise in summer league, consistently hitting his shots, making correct plays. However, he wasn't winning, which has been a problem for him since college. However, I digress. In the summer league, it was shown that his shot was changing. Although it was going down, there was a noticeable change in his shot form. Coming into the preseason, Markelle Fultz looked terrible. His shot was off, he wasn't shooting anything outside of 15 feet. Even if it was open, he would just drive to the rim or pass it. And it was clearly noticeable that this wasn't the consensus number 1 pick. After becoming the youngest player to drop a triple-double ever and 2 failed years in Philly, he was eventually traded to the Magic. In the Magic system, Markelle, I believe, has flourished. In tandem with Vucevic's 3-point shooting, Mo Bamba's shot blocking ability, and having a solidified role as a starting point guard, he significantly improved, gone from 8 points, 3 rebounds and 4 assists to 12 points, 3 rebounds and 5 assists on 45% shooting from the field and 27% shooting from free on 2 attempts. Now, although his shooting was still bad, the increased attempts with similar shooting percentages showed potential for him to improve his free. The key factors in ranking Markelle above the previous players lies in his ability as a primary ball handler. Now, unfortunately, in the 2020-21 season, Markelle Fultz would go down suffering an Achilles tear after only 8 games. This was a dramatic hit, as for his first 5 games, Markelle averaged almost 17 a game, which would be a 4-point improvement from his previous season. Although Markelle was ruled out with an ACL tear for the rest of the season, I put him above the previous players because A, his ball handling ability is significantly better. In terms of playmaking, ability to maneuver and read the pick and roll, as well as create his own shot in the mid-range, especially with his shoulder injury, which significantly limits his ability to score. He's done an extremely good job scoring the ball whilst trying to rehab/improve in a specific area. The same goes for Gary Harris, where Gary Harris doesn't have the playmaking or scoring ability of Markelle Fultz. It's easy to admit that Gary Harris is a significantly better defender than Markelle Fultz. However, Markelle is still a top tier defender. With a defensive rating of 110, this puts him comparable to players like Russell Westbrook with a defensive rating of 109.7. Russell Westbrook is consistently considered one of the best point guard defenders, and to be in company like his in terms of defense would be a significant accomplishment. Markelle does almost almost everything on the court. His main weakness is his turnovers, which could be a side effect of joining a new team, as this was his first season in Orlando and arguably his first full healthy season. And obviously his 3-point shooting, as he still hasn't developed a consistent 3-point shot. However, he has looked more comfortable shooting the shot in general. Although it doesn't go in, it shows that he is working on the shot and believes in his ability to make that shot. I would give Markelle Fultz an A. Runner up, we have Terence Ross. Terence Ross is the oldest player in this list, significantly, being 30 years old. However, his ability to shoot the free off ball is beautiful. He moves around consistently, find an open space to shoot the free, and if he shoots the free, he's going to. Although in the previous season, he had taken a slight drop in percentage, this could be due to him playing less games, as he only managed to play 46 out of 72 games. In the previous healthy season, he averaged 35% from free on 7 attempts. He shot 37% on catch and shoot threes while shooting them at a 26% frequency. He also shot 30% on pull-up threes. He shot comparable to RJ Hampton's catch and shoot threes on his pull-up. This shows his 3-point shooting ability is astronomical, and although he does dip from time to time as he takes bad shots, he compensates with that through his extreme athleticism. We should all know about Toronto Terence Ross. He was a monster. Catching bodies left, right, windmills, 360s, E-space, whatever dunk he wanted, he got it. He had it. He has retained a lot of his athleticism. He can easily throw down transition dunks and catch weak side defenders on a poster easy. This also helps him with his finishing ability at the rim, and his significant weakness comes in terms of playmaking. For a shooting guard, he is a terrible passer. He only averages 1 to 2 assists consistently while averaging around 1 to 2 turnovers as well. I mean, you can't have him as a primary ball handler. Terence easily compensates for his terrible ball handling in terms of defense. He locks people down. Let's keep it straight. He locks people down. He has a defensive rating of 109.4, which is better than, as well as averaging a steal and half a block at 6'6". He guards 1 for 3 consistently and is an excellent team defender. Him and Markelle Fultz are comparable. However, I would slightly give the edge to Terence simply because of how highly we value 3-point shooting in the current era. I would give Terence Ross an A. And last and clearly not least, being number 1, Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs hasn't played a minute of NBA basketball. At the time of this recording, Summer League just finished, as in it is 5 AM, and the Sacramento Kings were just crowned the champion. However, what Jalen Suggs has shown in the Summer League and college was outstanding. In college, he showed the ability to be a shot creator, being able to shoot mid-range as well as finish at the rim. His 3-point shot was inconsistent in terms of catch and shoot. However, this was because he primarily shot pull-up jump shots, in contrast to catch and shoot threes. He also had Corey Kispert, who was one of the best shooters in college at the time, to compensate for his lack of a 3-point shot, which he also has in the league in Terence Ross. However, in Summer League, he's compensated for his 3-point shot as he's consistently shooting 3-point shots, and they're going in, clearly. We all know that he was touted for his amazing transition ball handling skills and playmaking. This stands true from college to Summer League. However, his half-court playmaking was somewhat lacking. However, in Summer League, it seemed as if he switched from a playmaking aspect to a scoring aspect, from a pure playmaker to a pure shot creator. This may be simply because in Summer League there's a lot of unscouted, untouted players who may prove unreliable to primary playmakers, meaning he would have to take most of the shots, so we can't get an accurate estimation on his playmaking abilities. So in reference to his college stats, from what we saw, he does need to improve that aspect. His defense for a guard is also really good. Although coming in, he won't be one of the best elite defenders, he is still astronomically better than a lot of players in the league. His athleticism allows him to block shots and shift his feet quickly enough to keep up with guards of any caliber. This significantly helps on the defensive end, as his frame isn't the biggest, but this works with his quick hands and feet. He's also liable as a off-ball option. In college, you'll see him work off-ball and even slip into the shadows when other players are hot, consistently feeding them and putting himself and the player in the best position to win, as we saw as they almost went undefeated throughout the season. His combination of athleticism, shot creation, playmaking, and defense allows him to be number 1 above every person on this list. Jalen Suggs is coming as a complete player, someone who has an extremely low floor and an exponentially high ceiling. So in terms of what I believe the Magic should do with the extensive amount of guards on their team, it seems like they would be liable to make trades to allow younger players to develop together, build chemistry, and potentially form a championship. Now we understand in the NBA, the position you start the game in isn't where you play throughout the game. You can start the game at point guard and end up playing shooting guard throughout the duration of the game, depending on whatever sets your coach runs and how the defense plays you. So the lineup I'm about to give based on what I believe would optimally work against most defense, the most interchangeable on the court, as well as allowing players to develop consistently, as well as allowing players to develop in their positions and their roles. At the 1, I'm starting Markelle Fultz. With his experience on the team alongside Mo Bamba, he already has an understanding of his role and what he can bring to the team. Mo Bamba has solid floor spacing ability, so it'd be a downgrade from Nikola Vucevic. However, he also have options for spacing in terms of pick and roll, as well as having other teammates who could compensate for his lack of a 3-point shot. At the 2, I start Jalen Suggs. Although Jalen Suggs is a natural one, on the defensive end he would be a liability guarding bigger players like Jaylen Brown, Paul George. However, he would be switchable with Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba, who Mo Bamba has said multiple times he's committed to improving his pick and roll defense, as well as Wendell being small enough to keep up with bigger guards. On the offensive end, he would act as a secondary playmaker to Markelle Fultz, as well as significantly improving his shot creation ability. Jalen could use backdoor cuts to cut to the rim, catch lobs from Markelle, or could consistently use plays like flares to get a 3-point shot off, as athleticism would have his defender committing heavily to stop the lob threat. At the 3, I would have RJ Hampton. Now, although he isn't a starting caliber, at the 3, I would have RJ Hampton. Although I believe Gary Harris and Terence Ross are the better players, I believe the potential of RJ Hampton is enough to warrant him a starting spot. Especially if the roster understands that they are not a win-now team, they are a develop-for-the-future type team. I'll start RJ Hampton to give him experience in the NBA and what he would be going up against for the future. He provides solid defense, a good rebounder, a potential floor spacer depending on how he develops in the offseason, and another lob threat, because this team is extremely athletic. At the 4, I'd have Wendell, and because it's a guards video, I'm not going to focus on him too much. However, being a mid-range finisher would space out the floor significantly in terms of Jalen Suggs and RJ Hampton, as they'll be able to move around the 3-point line and not have to worry about clashing with another player. At 5, I'd have Mo Bamba. Obviously, he's the tallest player on the team. He would define a line of defense as a really good shot blocker, and on the offensive end, he provides spacing to a certain degree. He isn't the best 3-point shooter, however, he's not a liability. You can't leave him open at a 3-point shot because the chances that makes it, although it seems simple to say, are even. He's either making it or missing it. I think what I just said make more sense. You can't leave Steph Curry open at the 3 because he's going to make it. You can't leave Klay Thompson at the 3 because he's going to make it. You can leave DeMar DeRozan at the 3 because he's going to miss it. You can leave Russell Westbrook open at 3 because he's more than likely going to miss it. In terms of Mo Bamba, you don't know. At the 6th man, I would have Cole Anthony. Now, being a 6th man wouldn't be bad in this specific season because Markelle's returning from an ACL injury. This is one of the worst injuries in basketball you can get. Meaning Markelle will likely be on some type of minutes restriction. Because of the limits restriction, he'll likely get comparable playing time to what he got in his rookie season, although likely slightly reduced. He would also provide good secondary scoring for when either Jalen Suggs or Markelle are cold or tired. At 7th man would be Jonathan Isaacs. Returning from his knee injury, he would also be on a minutes restriction. So in order to develop RJ and ensure that they aren't rushing Jonathan Isaacs or Markelle back, they would both be a minute relative to that play. Obviously, if Markelle or Jonathan is hot, they likely wouldn't pull them. However, in terms of Jonathan Isaacs, he will likely get more playing time than Markelle due to his defensive impact on the team. Whereas in this returning season, Markelle would primarily act as a playmaker to ease him back into the game and not force any scoring loads onto him, as he could delegate to Jalen Suggs or RJ Hampton. I can't be asked to count minutes, I'm not going to cap. Minutes between Terence Ross and other rotation players would have to be delegated by coaches. However, after Jonathan Isaacs, I do believe everyone else is easily available for trade in order to fill out pieces to either A, help develop the team, or B, turn the team to a championship roster, which would likely be the more viable option. However, let me know what you think of my plan. I do believe there's some flaws in it. If you like it, like it. If you don't. Subscribe if you want. Okay, bye.